At dawn, Tehran is quiet. Before the traffic, before the markets open, before the arguments of parliament and the whispers of intelligence officers begin their daily rhythm, there is a stillness. For 37 years, one man rose before this city. One man reviewed intelligence briefings before sunrise. One man weighed decisions that could move armies, shift oil markets, silence dissent, or ignite conflict across borders. For nearly 4 decades, the Islamic Republic of Iran revolved around a single center of gravity. His name was Ali Khamenei. He was not a king. He was not elected by popular vote. He did not command from palace balconies. And yet he held more power than any Iranian ruler since the fall of monarchy. He outlasted presidents. He outlasted reform movements. He outlasted wars, sanctions, uprisings, and diplomatic isolation. He inherited a revolution, and he became its guardian. To understand modern Iran, its defiance, its contradictions, its resilience, and its unrest, one must understand the man who shaped it longer than anyone else. This is not the story of a single life. It is the story of power, how it is built, how it is defended, and how it endures. In 1979, a monarchy collapsed. The Pahlavi dynasty, backed by Western powers and modernist ambition, gave way to a clerical revolution unlike any the modern world had seen. At its center stood Ruhollah Khomeini, a grand Ayatollah who believed political sovereignty belonged not to kings but to Islamic jurists. The revolution did not merely change leadership. It rewrote the architecture of the state. The Islamic Republic fused theology with governance. Clerical authority was constitutionalized. Military structures were reimagined. The office of supreme leader became the apex of power, above president, above parliament, above judiciary. When Khomeini died in 1989, many wondered if the system could survive its founding figure. Few imagined that his successor would hold the office nearly 4 decades. Ali Khamenei was not the most senior cleric. He was not universally admired. He was not a towering theological authority. But he possessed something equally important: political instinct. Power in Iran does not always announce itself loudly. It operates through councils, through networks, through appointments. The supreme leader appoints the head of the judiciary, the commander of the armed forces, the leadership of state broadcasting, half of the Guardian Council, the body that vets candidates for office. He is commander-in-chief. No major decision, war, peace, nuclear negotiation, domestic security, moves forward without his consent. Presidents may debate policy. Parliament may legislate. But the supreme leader defines the perimeter. Under Khamenei, that perimeter was guarded carefully. When Khamenei became supreme leader in 1989, the world was shifting. The Cold War was ending. The Soviet Union was collapsing. American power was expanding across the Middle East. Iran, exhausted from 8 years of war with Iraq, faced reconstruction under sanctions and isolation. Through the 1990s and 2000s, the region convulsed. The Gulf War, the U.S. invasions of Afghanistan and Iraq, the rise of extremist groups, the Syrian civil war. Iran did not retreat from these events. It inserted itself into them. Under Khamenei's leadership, the Islamic Republic developed what it called strategic depth, alliances and proxy networks extending beyond its borders. To supporters, this was defense against encirclement. To critics, it was destabilization. But it was consistent with a worldview shaped by revolution and war. Survival requires projection. Khamenei's rhetoric centered on one word: resistance. Resistance to Western pressure, resistance to sanctions, resistance to cultural influence. This was not merely foreign policy. It was identity. The Islamic Republic defined itself in opposition to external dominance. Sanctions tightened repeatedly. Oil exports fluctuated. Currency depreciated. And yet the system endured. Khamenei often framed hardship as proof of independence, a necessary cost for sovereignty. But resistance abroad did not prevent pressure at home. Iran is a young country demographically, a society educated, urban, and digitally connected. Through the decades, waves of protest emerged. Students demanding reform, voters contesting elections, citizens protesting economic hardship, women challenging compulsory dress codes. Each wave posed a question: could the Islamic Republic adapt? Under Khamenei, adaptation had limits. Security forces intervened. Judicial systems enforced order. Media was controlled. The system preserved itself. But the fault lines remained. Unlike charismatic revolutionaries, Khamenei cultivated a different persona, reserved, measured, deliberate. He was not a mass orator in the style of Khomeini. He preferred institutional consolidation over dramatic gestures. He strengthened the Revolutionary Guard's political and economic role. He balanced factions within the clerical establishment. He ensured loyalty across security structures. Power for Khamenei was not spectacle, it was architecture. From 1989 onward, presidents rotated through office. Reconstructionists, reformists, hardliners, pragmatists, each brought policy shifts. None displaced the supreme leader. 37 years is an era. An entire generation of Iranians grew up knowing only one supreme leader. Children born in the early 1990s entered adulthood under his authority. He became the continuity of the system. In February 2026, at age 86, Ali Khamenei died. His passing closed a chapter that began in the aftermath of revolution and war. Reactions were divided. Some mourned a steadfast defender of independence. Others saw the end of a rigid era. But regardless of perspective, one fact was undeniable. He had shaped the Islamic Republic longer than anyone else. Power is often judged by visibility. But endurance is another measure. Ali Khamenei did not build the revolution. He inherited it. He did not design its ideology. He preserved it. He ruled through war memories, sanctions regimes, internal unrest, and global realignment. He centralized authority while navigating factional politics. He expanded regional influence while managing economic strain. He defended the system even as younger generations questioned it. The story that follows is not a simple tale of hero or villain. It is a study in statecraft under pressure, a study in ideological governance in a modern world, a study in how revolutions evolve and how they survive. To understand the man, we must return to where it began, to Mashhad, to a modest clerical household, to a child studying scripture under the shadow of a golden shrine. Because the roots of power often begin in silence.